Hello, in this one I'm going to be showing you how to create your own custom button here and then connect that button to an event that you are going again to connect to a server event where you are going to be able to write your own server-side code to do whatever you like to do. So I'm going to go to Frappe documentation, and when you go to Frappe documentation you can just type here on the search bar something like custom button, and here you see there are various types of custom buttons. I'm going to go with the first one and I'm going to select this one. So when I copy, I'll just copy this code, then take it to my patient.js file here. This JS file came with a patient module. So I'm just going to scroll down the patient doc type. Just scroll down and add your own. This says frappe.ui.form.on. This is patient. This takes in the name of the doc type. And then let me just remove those also. Then clear this up. Let me just exit this thing. Quit. Okay. So I'm going to change the name of this button to something like action 1. This one you can name your button whatever you like to name it, and this is the name. This is when you need to create multiple buttons here. For instance, I can just call this action because I'm assuming that you like a button here which says action, and then when you click on it, it has a drop down like this one. Like for instance, this one with the multiple buttons, where when you click on one, each of these triggers a different function depending on the way you program the backend. So that is why I have called this action, and then this is my button 1. And when I save this already as is and I restart my server, and then I also refresh the browser here, I should see a button here, assuming that we don't have errors. Very good. Here we have an action, and when you click on it, we have action 1. If we needed to create another button below this, what we just need to do here is to copy. Let me format this code better. Okay, all right. Is to copy. All right, okay. Is to copy this button as is and then paste it down here, and I can call this action 2. All right, save it, start my server, refresh the browser, and we should have action 1 and action 2 under the actions here. Action 1, action 2. Very good. So we are not interested in action 2 today, so we are going to remove this button. We are just interested in 1. And what I would like to do here is when I click on this button, I would like to trigger an event. Okay, so I can just here, instead of doing this, I can say something like just to see whether my button is being called, I can console log and say the button is clicked. Okay, save this, go back to the terminal, start and start the browser and refresh the browser. And when I inspect here, and I click on the button, very good, the button has been clicked. So you can see when I click on this button, it notices that I have clicked the button. Very good. So we can go ahead and now start writing our code here. So one thing that you realize is that once you have this button here, you are able to access the form, the form that you are working on right from this place as just FRM. So if I say console, what's that? Console.log, and then I say log the form, and I start the browser again, I will log a lot of data from this form. As you can see here, I have the doc type. Opening it, there is a lot of stuff from this form that has been logged here. But today I will be interested in the selected doc detail here. So this selected doc is what I'm interested in. So if I come to my form here and then I say selected doc, so log the selected doc, selected doc, yeah. Refresh this, and also refresh this. If I console log that, I'll get only the data inside of the selected document. So here I can see the customer is Geoffrey, the email is that one, it's the patient, the doc type is patient, and so many other details about this patient. All right. So if I want to access the email of this patient, I'll just add a .email here. So I can just say here .email. Okay. So console log form .selected doc .email. This will give me the email of this patient. So refresh, and refreshing here, go, and there you go. Here you have the email address of the selected patient. If I go to another patient as the end, if I go back, we have Steve here. Let me see the email. This is the email. If I go back one more time, I have test, check, we have the email. If I go back one more time, we have Kevin, test, we have Kevin. Okay, so we have the emails. We are able to get the email of the logged in patient, and just like that, you're also able to get so many other things. So I can just come here and say let patient email be that, and also I'm going to get the patient name. So I can say let patient name be this .name. I don't know whether we have that, so console log, let me see whether we have the patient name. Okay, this is JavaScript, so we can end that. All right. Okay, so go back here, refresh. I just want to see what it will log when I click on this. Is supposed to give me the, yeah, correct, the ID. This is what ERPNext uses as the primary key. So go, we have Steve, and you have Geoffrey. Very good. So we have them. So I'm just showing you that you're able to get as many details of any form that you are on, just like this. And then what I would like to do now with this, I would like to send it to the server. And the server, we are going to write a function inside the API.py file. This is a file that we created ourselves with only one function. So we are going to create another function here, and I'm just going to say define, and call it whatever you want. So let me just call this some awesome code, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. And this function is going to take in some arguments. So these arguments are going to come from our form here, and then here I can just say something like, let me just print the arguments, and then I return true. For now, let me just leave it as simple as that. So coming here, I need to make a call to my function. All right. So how we do that, again, we have Frappe calls. So you can just come to Frappe documentation and do frappe.call, and select the first one, Frappe Ajax call. And here we have a number of them. I want to go with the third one, which is saying calling whitelisted functions. So I'll just copy this code as is, copy, and I'll paste this code here. I'll paste that code there, indent that, then I'll remove this comment. I don't need it. But basically this comment is telling you that this is the dotted path to your server method, and this is not our server method. So the server method we need to be calling is the method we just wrote here. All right, so how we are going to get to that is we are going to go to our app, which is ERPNext, and then we are going to say .healthcare. This is the module health healthcare, and then we are going to have here the doc type, and then the doc type we are going to say is patient, and then inside the patient doc type we have our file, which is API, and then inside that file we have our function, which is that healthcare. Okay, so this is now correct, and here we are going to have a callback. Let me just console log again and log r. This is going to come from our function, so whatever is going to be returned here is what is going to be logged inside here, because this is a callback. So again, in this callback you're able to do whatever you want to do. All right, let us first of all see whether we are hitting our function here and we are returning anything from it, even before we pass in arguments inside here. So let me restart my server and then I refresh here and check. We have an error. We are told that we are not permitted. Yeah, and that is because, again, if you want to be calling functions within Frappe, you need to whitelist them. So just say frappe.whitelist. So this is a good sign already, because this shows that our function is working. It's trying to call this, but when it gets here, it realizes that this function is not whitelisted, and so it throws that error that you just saw. So refresh that again, hoping this time it will work and give us true here. Go, and we have a message telling us true. This message is a callback, so our code has worked. It has hit our function here, and it has also given us true. And we come to because we have this print message here, when we come here, we are going to see that the app also tried to print something, and it has printed this. It has printed this CMD with ERP. All that detail has been printed by this print statement. So now let's add some arguments to our function, so that we are able to see how we are going to send the data now for processing by our function. So how we do that, just below this method, before the callback, we are going to give it some arguments. And how we do that, we just say args, and then we give it this dictionary, and we say let's just pass these two, because this is what we have for now. This is just for demo purposes. Then we can also pass the patient name, and there we go. So we have these arguments now passing, going with our inside our function, the patient name and the patient email. So inside this print statement, these args are also supposed to add where it had printed this one. We are also supposed to see here the patient email and the patient name. So let's go back, confirm that we have done this correctly. So we have arguments. Yeah, so let's just restart our server and refresh here, and hoping we don't have an error, and actually we do. So going back here, I think we needed to add a comma there. Refresh, start this again, refresh, and this time, yeah, our code works. Click here we have a message says true, and here we have the patient email, the patient name, and that. So this is getting to our server now. This has come from this print statement here, the print statement inside our server, which is this. So if we said here, instead of return true, if we told it to return args, we are supposed to have a console log. Because of this console log r, we are supposed to console log the details that have come from the server. So if I start that again and I refresh here, we should see, after clicking that, we should see these details logged here. Very good. So we have patient email and patient name. These have come from our server here, this return statement. So very good. So now when you are here, the data that can be accessed, again, if you want to access the maybe the only the patient, let me just copy paste this. If you want to only have the patient, I don't need that. Patient name, you can just get it by saying here ags.get, and then you tell it what you want to get, and this one you want to get the patient email. So patient email, correct. And then also when you want to pass this, of course the other one you get the same way. So patient email, and now we pass the patient email in the ags in the return statement. Here this time we expect to see only the patient email. All right, so for processing purposes, if you want the patient email, maybe you want to send an email to the patient or whatever you want to do with the email, this is how you're going to get it. Let's just test and make sure it is working. So refresh. And go. We have an error saying, yeah, we have something here. This is arguments, ARGS, not whatever you had written there. So go again, and this time we should get it working, hopefully. Go. Yeah, very good. So we only have the message here with the patient email only. This has been sent from this, and therefore when you need the patient email, the patient name, anything else you need to pass from this form method, you remember you're able to access anything within that form with this, then well and good, you can pass it as arguments to your function, and then you can process it here however you want to process it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.